There's going to be an attempt on the life of the president.
Send in the ERT team. Take out the steam.
No, I didn't start it, but be sure as hell I mean to see it through.
The film opens with U.S. Special Forces sniper Bob Lee Swagger and his scout Donnie Finn lying in wait in the hills of Ethiopia, ready to deliver covering fire for a U.S. convoy heading back to base. They pass the time with small talk, and Donnie looks at a photo of his wife, Sarah, who is about to enter nursing school. Far below, a truck carrying a machine gun in the back speeds towards the American convoy. Seeing this, Swagger takes out the shooter and driver with deadly precision, each with a single shot to the head. It seems like the mission is over as the Americans make their way down the road until a horde of hostile militia appear, firing on the soldiers. Donnie relays target information while Swagger systematically picks off numerous hostiles, allowing the U.S. forces to escape. But protecting the convoy has revealed their position, and soon, the two snipers are under heavy fire. Back at base, their commanding officer is more concerned about avoiding detection, as the Americans aren't supposed to be in the country, and Swagger and Donnie are abandoned, left to fend for themselves.
They're highly trained men 8 kilometers inside a country we are not supposed to be in. I'm sure they'll get out just fine. Shut it down now.
An enemy helicopter soon begins to strafe their position, and unfortunately, Donnie is killed, and an angry Swagger returns fire on the helicopter, bringing it down in flames. 3 years later, Swagger is seen living in the mountains, a recluse from the world that abandoned him. His only companion is his dog, trained to open the fridge and take out a cold beer for Swagger as he returns to his cabin. At a military office, the wheelchair-bound Michael Sandor, Colonel Isaac Johnson, Jack Payne, and Louis Dobler are planning an operation. Sandor recommends Swagger, and they discuss his past. A lost soul, covert ops hero now turned loner, seems perfect for their needs. Bouncing up the woodland track, Johnson and his men drive out to meet Swagger. Alerted by his barking dog, Swagger is alerted as the men approach his cabin.
You sure, boy?
Johnson introduces himself to Swagger, flaunting his own Medal of Honor. Tension mounts, as Swagger is not interested in talking, and when Payne tries to lure the dog to him, Swagger warns him off.
Don't do that. Come to the porch, I'd invite you not to shoot the dog.
Tension escalates as Payne reaches slowly down towards his gun, and Swagger readies a hidden blade. Johnson calms the situation, convincing Swagger to give him 5 minutes. He explains their situation. They have received information about a planned assassination attempt on the president, and, with a mole in one of their agencies, they've turned for help to Swagger. One of their intelligence clues is that the assassin's shot will be taken from over a mile, a shot which only a few men are capable of doing. Still, Swagger wants nothing to do with the plan, but Johnson insists. The president will travel to 3 different cities, and Johnson wants Swagger to travel to each and scout potential places for a sniper. Feelings of patriotism begin to change Swagger's mind. But, as Johnson prepares to leave, Swagger takes a picture of their license plate. Later that day, Swagger sets up a can of stew and practices the beyond a mile shot, nailing it with complete accuracy. This makes Swagger change his mind, and he cuts his hair and trims his beard. As he cleans his guns, he tells his dog that he'll be gone for a couple of days. True to his word, Swagger scouts each location, reporting back to Johnson that the likely location is Philadelphia. Fast forward to the day of the speech. Snipers are everywhere, along with federal agents, one of whom is rookie FBI agent Nick Memphis. Swagger stands in a nearby office with Johnson, Payne, and Dobler, and a cop named Stanley Timmons. Johnson claims the shooter is in a church tower nearby and says that they will take him down just after the president begins to speak, but Swagger's eye is taken by the fact that Timmons' gun is not holstered.
Real honor to meet you.
You weren't snapped, officer.
The president is scheduled to speak immediately after the Archbishop of Ethiopia, who is accepting an award. But shockingly, as the president approaches the stand, the Archbishop is shot in the head, and Timmons suddenly shoots Swagger in the shoulder.
Send in the ERT team. Take out the steam.
He falls out of a window, landing hard on a glass ceiling below, but manages to escape. Payne chews out Timmons for not finishing off Swagger, and they leave behind Swagger's sniper rifle and a bullet, planning to frame him for an attempt at the president's life. As Swagger flees, he stumbles into Memphis, who draws his gun, but Swagger flips him over on the ground. He handcuffs Memphis to a gate, saying that he was set up and Timmons is in on it. Grabbing Memphis's gun, Swagger drives off in his car. Timmons catches up to Memphis and alerts the cops that Swagger has stolen an FBI car.
Suspect is armed and dangerous, I repeat.
Now everyone is searching for Swagger, and he drives into a car wash to hide from the helicopters. While his car is being washed, Swagger hops in the back seat and cuts a hole in the trunk, where he grabs a medic kit and tends to his wounds. Speeding out of the car wash, he is seen again by the cops, and a chase ensues. The back end of his car is smashed by a pickup truck, causing him to spin around, and Swagger finds himself directly in front of a line of police officers. Throwing the car into reverse, Swagger drives through a construction site and directly into the Delaware River. Later, the cops recover the car, but Swagger is nowhere to be found. He hangs onto a boat and makes it to underneath a bridge. From there, he hotwires a truck and takes off. Meanwhile, FBI agents watch news report of the assassination attempt and of Swagger's escape. They are all disappointed that Swagger overpowered Memphis so easily. While meeting with his superior officer and other agents, Memphis tells them what Swagger said to him, but they insist that he didn't hear anything. Seeing his picture all around the news, Swagger drives to a store and knocks out the power so that the store owner cannot recognize Swagger, and then goes inside to buy supplies.
Please, all I need is a marinade needle, some salt, some sugar, a couple bottles of water.
He drives to an empty car repair station and makes an IV for himself using the supplies. He then drives all night to Kentucky and goes to Sarah's home. She's startled by him coming by, since she's seen the news about what happened. Sarah lets him come inside, and he apologizes for not coming to meet her after Donnie died. She did receive his letter, though, along with flowers each year on the anniversary of Donnie's death. Swagger gives her a list of things to get and sends her out to get them. She eventually buys everything, and he quickly instructs her how to treat his bullet wounds before passing out. Even though she's not a nurse, she does a decent job of cleaning him up. Swagger eventually gets better and tells Sarah that he's going to go after the guys who set him up. Sarah informs him that news reports are saying that Swagger killed his dog and tried to kill the president. Swagger is furious and plans to see this through to the end. He blames himself for Donnie's death, but Sarah slaps him in the face and tells him that Donnie fully knew what he got himself into.
It was my fault.
He knew exactly what he was doing when he enrolled in Scout Sniper training.
Meanwhile, Memphis looks further into the assassination attempt and discusses it with fellow agent Lourdes, who tells him to stop looking into it. The facts don't add up for Memphis, as given Swagger's reputation, it is hard for him to miss a shot within that range. Furthermore, the story that Officer Timmons gave is questionable. He claims that he saw a rifle barrel sticking out a window, but Memphis knows that no sniper does that. As if that weren't enough, he's told that Officer Timmons was shot and killed by a mugger just hours after the shooting, making it clear that it was indeed a setup. Memphis goes to all of the locations that Swagger went to, and goes to the church tower where he sees specific markings in the dust. He goes online to a gun chat room, where he finds out exactly what kind of gun was used in the assassination attempt. During this time, he begins to notice that people are watching him. Meanwhile, Sarah gives Swagger Donnie's first sniper rifle and volunteers to help him. Their first course of action is to find Memphis. Sarah wears a disguise and meets Memphis in a public place, handing him the photographs of Johnson's license plate and asking him to track the car. Swagger watches from across the street, but is seen by police who think that he's suspicious. Two cops approach him with an attack dog. After Sarah and Memphis leave, Swagger easily subdues them.
Take your hat off, asshole!
Memphis sneaks into a restricted area of the FBI office and tries to find information about the license plate number, but he's blocked out and requires a Delta-level clearance. Lourdes tells him that he's going to be fired if he keeps looking into this. But she too believes in the conspiracy and hence ends up telling him how to get the security clearance. Meanwhile, Dobler informs Johnson about the internet chat room and someone trying to access Delta-level security information. They realize that Memphis is looking where he shouldn't, and hence decide to take him out. As Memphis is walking on a bridge, he is abducted by masked men in a van.
Hey!
He is severely beaten, and the men put him in a rig that will make him shoot himself. But fortunately, Swagger shoots each man one by one using Donnie's rifle and frees Memphis, who knows that Swagger was set up and agrees to help him. Johnson learns about the shootout and understands that he's now working with Swagger and hence orders his men to look deep into Swagger's past. Memphis drives them to Tennessee, where they visit an old marksman expert. Swagger asks him who could make a shot beyond a mile. Apart from Swagger, there's one man. The sniper used to be sadistic, just shooting to wound and killing everyone who tried to help the wounded. But one fateful day, he got trapped in a building hit by an explosion, but some believe that he managed to escape. The sniper is Michael Sandor, the handicapped Russian that's working with Johnson. Meanwhile, Johnson knows that Swagger is going to look for the shooter, and so lets Sandor act as bait to lure him out. Dobler found that Swagger has sent flowers to Sarah each year and believes that she helped him, making her a potential target. Swagger and Memphis go to a big hardware store and buy lots of supplies. They then drive out to the woods where they make napalm, pipe bombs, and gas bombs. Swagger teaches Memphis to use a sniper rifle and makes him practice while he sets off bombs nearby. Meanwhile, Sarah senses someone in her house and takes out her shotgun. A henchman appears with a silenced pistol, but is blasted through the chest by Sarah. But Payne sneaks up behind Sarah and makes her put down the shotgun. He asks her where Swagger is, but when she denies to talk, he beats her up. Elsewhere, Johnson meets with corrupt Senator Charles Meacham and gets his approval to fly in over 20 soldiers to kill Swagger. Swagger and Memphis find where Sandor is and plan an attack. Memphis remains in position near the forest while Swagger sneaks up behind a guard and stabs him in the back, then sets up some bombs. He swiftly takes down the remaining guards and Sandor is all alone now.
Swagger, you got one above you in the roof.
Cornered by Swagger, he reveals what really happened. The president was never in danger and the archbishop was the target because he was going to talk about Americans committing genocide to build an oil pipeline in Ethiopia. The best way to kill the archbishop was to make it look like a failed attempt on the president. Swagger unwillingly was part of the genocide, since back in Ethiopia, Donnie and him were covering the soldiers that murdered the villagers. Soldiers surround the cabin, and Memphis warns Swagger. A proud Sandor pulls out a pistol and shoots himself in the head and post that. Swagger orders Memphis to set off the pipe bombs, and then the gas bombs. 2 soldiers come into the house, and Swagger shoots both dead. Memphis sets off the bombs, and Swagger shoots his way out of the cabin. Memphis covers him, and a big shootout ensues. Swagger makes it to Memphis, and a helicopter shows up to kill them. He thinks back to Donnie's death and fires upon the helicopter. Both men run a safe distance and set off the napalm bombs, blowing up the remaining soldiers and destroying the helicopter. Next, Memphis calls the FBI field office and talks to his superior, Russ Turner, informing him that he has Swagger in custody. Swagger then calls Johnson, who tells him that he wants to meet. Johnson reveals that he has Sarah, and Swagger reveals that he recorded Sandor's confession about everything, ultimately forcing Johnson to meet, and he also requests that Meacham be present. The meeting is in the snowy mountains where Johnson, Meacham, Payne, and Sarah are present. Payne rigged a shotgun to his hand and is holding Sarah at gunpoint. They see Swagger walking towards them in the distance, and he is immediately shot in the chest by a hidden sniper. Johnson and Meacham are pleased, but their hidden snipers are shot through the head one by one. Turns out, it was actually Memphis whom they had shot. He pulls out his armor and continues to walk towards them. Swagger aims carefully and blows off Payne's arm, thereby rescuing Sarah. Memphis disarms Johnson and Meacham, and Swagger finally approaches them, and a furious Sarah grabs a pistol and shoots Payne to death. Meacham offers Swagger a job, but he refuses. Memphis calls in the FBI to come to their location, and Swagger burns Sandor's recording, fully knowing that whoever turns over the recording will be killed. No one there is innocent, and so they wait for the FBI to show up. Some time passes, and Swagger is brought to a meeting in the Department of Justice. Present are the Attorney General, Johnson, FBI Director Brandt, Memphis, and Sarah. Memphis shakes Swagger's hand and slips him bullet, unseen by others in the room. In front of him is his sniper rifle, and Swagger's hands are freed. He turns to Memphis, asking whether he believes in Swagger's innocence and whether he trusts him with his life. Memphis answers yes.
Really trust me? With your life?
Yep.
And Swagger loads the bullet into the rifle, aims at Memphis, and pulls the trigger, but shockingly, nothing happens. The truth of the situation is clear. Before he left to scout locations, he removed the firing pins from all his weapons, including the rifle in front of him that was supposedly used in the shooting, thereby making it impossible for him to use his weapon to kill the Ethiopian archbishop. Clearly innocent, Swagger and Memphis then argue that the real guilty in the room is Johnson, tying him to the mass grave in Ethiopia. But the Attorney General has no jurisdiction over crimes Johnson may have committed in other countries. Hence, Johnson is allowed to leave. The Attorney General frees Swagger, convinced that he's innocent. He tells Swagger that sometimes justice isn't fair, but we don't live in the Old West anymore, where you can clean things up with a gun. Sometime later, Johnson celebrates his victory with Meacham and Dobler in a remote cabin. They laugh about winning again, but soon, blood splatters on Dobler's face and a dead guard falls down directly in front of him. Johnson, too, is shot through the chest. Dobler turns off the lights, and Meacham orders him to get the car, but suddenly, the SUV explodes. Swagger moves underneath the cabin and shoots Dobler through the knee from under the floor. He then enters the cabin and shoots Dobler in the chest and approaches Meacham. Swagger blows his brains out with a pistol.
I am a United States Senator.
Exactly.
Before placing it in Johnson's hands and post that, breaks the gas line, making the cabin explode as he leaves. The film ends with Swagger and Sarah behind the wheel, driving into the distance, hoping to start a peaceful life after killing their enemies in the Wild West style. Thank you for watching. If you liked this recap, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. And please don't forget to check out the other videos on the channel.